It's been an issue for years. What to do about an overloaded Whiskey Road in Aiken.
And it is still a work in progress after all this time. Tonight we'll hear from drivers about what they think at 11.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, NBC 26 at 11.
4 people are dead, a 5th in critical condition tonight after a shooting in Ohio with local ties. Police believe it may be a case of murder-suicide.
It happened Monday. A West Side High graduate who grew up here in Augusta is one of the victims shot and killed. Crime scene tape surrounds the home in Clarendon County, Ohio that belonged to the Kane family. Neighbors say the house was in foreclosure and deputies arrived to serve eviction papers when shots rang out.
It's hard for anybody to understand this.
Mary Kay Victor and her husband Joe say they walk the family dogs in this neighborhood every day and says she heard about the murders from her son-in-law who lives next door to where the shots were fired.
First of all, prayers for this family. I can't even imagine what they're going through.
The sheriff there says the victims are 50-year-old Stephen Kane, 46-year-old Teresa Kane, 74-year-old William Felton, and 13-year-old Ethan Kane. The sheriff says 20-year-old Samantha Kane is in critical condition. Stephen Kane was known as the lead singer for a band, Critical Chaos, which plays groove thrash metal according to the band's website. Steve Kane grew up here in Augusta in the National Hills neighborhood. He went to West Side High School, and family and friends describe him as a great guy, someone you never saw angry or upset. He posted this poem he wrote called Look at the Flowers on his Facebook page just a day before the murders. One of the lines reads, Look at the flowers and think of better days. His 8th grade son Ethan's school reflected on those better days today.
Teachers and staff members were in tears today.
The superintendent says teachers today closed the textbooks and allowed students to talk about the death of their classmate.
Just a bright young life has been extinguished like this. We have a large bulletin board that kids can just post notes. It's their message. It's what they want Ethan to know. And it will bring tears to your eyes. That these kids, it reached home with them today.
Deputies up there in Ohio say they are not looking for any suspects at this time. They do believe this to be a murder-suicide, but they're waiting on those autopsy results to be sure of who the suspect and the victims were in the case.
Also tonight, a problem Aiken has been trying to solve for years. Whiskey Road is too congested with traffic.
And it's only getting worse. News 12's Taylor Martin was at a meeting tonight where they were looking for solutions for both now and down the road.
Some people are pleased and others are concerned about the plans for Whiskey Road after tonight's meeting. Most of all, they're worried about the growth in traffic that will come along with it. Aiken County partnered with ACOM to conduct a Whiskey Road study, and tonight they offered a long-term project to add turning lanes and other safety measures to 8 different intersections on Whiskey Road. The long-term project would be broken up into 8 different short-term projects. The ones that could take place in the next 5 years would be the intersections of Powderhouse Road and Whiskey Road and the intersections of Chime Bell Church Road and Whiskey Road. One woman I spoke with tonight is concerned the changes will not be good for her business.
I'm sure it's going to hurt my business, and it's going to hurt the neighbors, the residential people that live back behind me. And yeah, it's absolutely going to affect us in a very negative way.
Aiken County is taking feedback on the Whiskey Road study until March 28th. So if you'd like your opinion to be part of their final decision, we'll have that information on our website, wrdw.com.
Thanks very much for that, Taylor. Weather now as we check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist.
The Richmond County coroner has identified the person who died in a motorcycle crash on Bobby Jones Sunday night. Luke Yasuda was a soldier stationed at Fort Gordon. The sheriff's office said the accident happened just before 7 between Wheeler Road and Wrightsboro Road. That accident shut down several lanes and people were directed to drive in the emergency lane.
2 Richmond County deputies arrested for using unnecessary force against an inmate. Friday, the Internal Affairs Division learned that an inmate filed an officer grievance report of unnecessary force, but the incident itself happened the day before. On Thursday, video from the Webster Detention Center showing a couple of deputies, Gerardo Sanchez Jr. and Joshua Jackson, assaulting an inmate. Both have been charged with simple battery and violation of oath of office. So tomorrow, Sheriff Richard Roundtree will have something to say about this in a news conference. We'll be there to let you know what he has to say.
A Waynesboro man arrested today, accused in a shooting that sent one person to the hospital. It happened yesterday evening on Highway 80 East. A witness said the suspect, Darius Evans, came to the home uninvited and started arguing with the victim. The witness told deputies Evans walked to a nearby trail and started shooting at the home. He's charged with aggravated assault. A reward is being offered for any information about the murder of this 20-year-old. Last January, someone shot and killed Kevin Coatney Jr. in the parking lot while leaving Club 706 on Deansbridge Road. Today, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help finding who's responsible, and Coatney's family is backing that with $10,000 worth of a reward for information that leads to an arrest. If you have any information, call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
There's some confusion tonight over who should be held responsible for damages to some city-owned property, the Riverfront Boathouse.
The city attorney says, according to the lease, it should be the Augusta Rowing Club, who's been leasing that building for decades. As Craig Allison explains, a lot is at stake for this prime property on the river.
A long day of back and forth debates between city leaders and no idea on who should pay a potential $3 million fix.
I was a little confused. I know we don't have $3 million to fix the building. I know that much.
Brad Holdren has been running the Augusta Rowing Club, who uses the boathouse, for the past 8 years. The lease the rowing club signed 30 years ago says the rowing club is responsible for the building's upkeep.
If they try to hang the whole repair of the boathouse on us, we'll just close. It would be very sad for the club and for the city, but no, we can't foot that kind of bill.
It all stems from a Christmas pipe burst that flooded the facility and left nothing but a laundry list of repairs and mold in its path. Brad says it was the city's decision to turn the heat off, leading to the burst pipes, and should be their responsibility to help fix the mess. The money has the mayor considering everything, even scrapping the whole building and starting from scratch.
There's a lot of interest in events that occur on our river, everything from Iron Man. I recall many years ago that facility used to be used for wedding receptions, for meetings, and I'd like to get back to that.
A lot of history that's up in the air.
People training out of this boathouse, we've got 3 Olympic silver medals in the last 30 years here. To me personally, it's everything.
In Augusta, Craig Allison on your side.
So the commission will come back in about 2 weeks to figure out who should be responsible for fixing the boathouse, or if they should go another route altogether. We'll let you know what they decide.
Fourth graders in Macon, Georgia turned into living replicas of historical Black figures for Black History Month. The students at Vineville Academy of the Arts hosted a wax museum. They dressed up as historic Black figures of their choice, from Venus Williams to Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and many others. The students stood still as they could as wax figures until other students or parents pressed a button. Then they would recite a speech in character. Teacher Tyler Burns explained how the idea of the Living Wax Museum came to be.
Wanted to find a way to get the students engaged, get them to research and really learn and dig deep into the cultural history of Black Americans. So we figured this would be a great opportunity. They can dress up and learn speeches and really just show what they know.
They hope to use the Wax Museum concept again next year.
And guess what? Right here at home, another school with the same idea. Today, Blakeney Elementary in Burke County had their own Black History Month Wax Museum, filled with inspirational stories and the people who lived them.
The 11-year-old boy attacked by dogs in Columbia County is finally back home after 2 months in the hospital. His mom posting on Facebook today, "Thank you, Jesus, that Justin's skin graft on his head is perfect." So they are happy to be home today, and still a long road of recovery, but I know they're happy to all be back in the same house.
Yeah, sleeping in his own bed tonight for the
Yes.
first time in a long time.
Coming up, the plan to forgive student debt for millions facing its hardest test yet.
And we do have a first alert in effect on Friday, expecting the chance for a few scattered severe thunderstorms. Have an update on the full forecast just after the break.
Join News 12 and the American Heart Association Saturday, March 25th for the 2023 CSRA Heart Walk.
We're joining together to raise funds, celebrate survivors, and to have fun along the way at this year's Heart Walk.
Your participation and support will fund research that can help save lives.
Lace up and join us at SRP Park as we take the first step towards a heart-healthier CSRA.
Register for the CSRA Heart Walk today at csraheartwalk.org.
Your best defense.
Weather Friday, we do dry out heading into the weekend.
President Biden's plan to forgive student loan debt for more than 40 million Americans facing its toughest test yet, the U.S. Supreme Court.
And today, justices had arguments on two different challenges brought by 6 Republican-led states and 2 student loan borrowers.
Students came to make their voices heard.
It's a lot of anxiety in here.
25-year-old Janaea Moore would see about a third of her $70,000 student loan debt erased under President Biden's forgiveness plan.
I feel like my life is on the line if it doesn't get canceled.
She is one of 43 million people eligible for some student loan debt relief. Those making less than $125,000 a year could get $10,000 in debt forgiven. Those with Pell Grants could get $20,000 erased. But that comes at a cost, nearly $500 billion. Critics say on an issue this big, Congress has to sign off. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey is one of the state Republican leaders urging the court to kill the program.
As someone who paid for my school in blood, sweat, and tears in service to my nation, that's an issue that's near and dear to my heart. I'm confident the court will reach the right decision.
A confidence that was bolstered during 3 hours of arguments, as conservative justices seem skeptical that President Biden could single-handedly forgive student debt for 95% of borrowers.
I think most casual observers would say if you're going to give up that much amount of money, if you're going to affect the obligations of that many Americans on a subject that's of great controversy, they would think that's something for Congress to act on.
But liberal justices said the law gave the administration power to act during national emergencies like COVID.
There's 50 million students who are will benefit from this, who today will struggle.
The Republican leaders fighting to stop the Biden plan say all that debt cancellation will cost their states money, and the Supreme Court is expected to make a decision by the end of June.
When we come back, both sides have rested, but before closing arguments, the jurors are set to visit the scene of the crime in the Alec Murdaugh double murder trial.
And as we head to break, a live look at the St. Louis Gateway Arch and your winning lottery numbers.